Hey, what's up, YouTube? My name is Batman. Today, we got some decent shotgun Battlefield 3 action for you. Pretty decent game. And I wanted to talk about the Battlefield versus Call of Duty debate. And I know everyone and their dog and their mother has formed already some sort of opinion about, Call of Duty versus Battlefield in terms of which is better. And most of the time, people's predictions their opinions are very predictable. If they play only COD, they're gonna think COD's better, and if they play only Battlefield, they're gonna think Battlefield's better. And for those of us, I think we make a slim majority. For those of us who've played both games, we're gonna say that both games are pretty awesome, but they're different, and they're for different people who enjoy different things, like apples and oranges, right? In the sense that you don't want to make either one, neither one is better. They're just different. That's the sort of opinion of people who play both, and I agree with that. I think it's an enlightened opinion, but I think I've sort of, it was my opinion for a while, but I've sort of grown on it. I've sort of evolved, and for starters, you do have to acknowledge that they are two very different games. Battlefield is very realistic. That's sort of its calling card. That's what people will talk about when they're trying to make the argument for why Battlefield is better. They'll talk about how realistic it is and how that's a better thing. And I do agree that realism has its place, but keep in mind that it's not, the end-all be-all, because if a game were truly realistic, the gunfights would be 3 hours long and maybe one or two people would die. Because that's how they are in real life, and you can't even really see the people you're shooting at. You're shooting from they're poking their head up above a rock about a mile away, and you're poking your head up above a rock about a mile away, and you're kind of just shooting each other and seeing where the bullets land, and that's fucking intense in real life because there's no respawning. But in games, I think that would get kind of boring. Like it would be fun for a little while, but after you played one, 2.5 hour match where you killed one person and then you died and you didn't respawn, I think most people would just put that game down at that point. I know I would. And also, keep in mind, even Battlefield, compared to actual reality, Battlefield is not very real at all. When you are repairing a tank with a drill, right? Tank's in pieces and it's on fire, and you hit it with the good old repair drill and it comes back to full health. That's not, there has to be a level of imagination involved in every video games, and that's what makes video games great. When I think of Battlefield, I think of like a Saving Private Ryan or Black Hawk Down, one of those cool movies that's really intense but not necessarily what real battle is like every day. Keep in mind, Black Hawk Down is a rare instance. If you've ever seen that movie, that's not what combat is like consistently. That was a rare instance where, a group of our soldiers got swarmed by like 3,000 Somalis. Now, Call of Duty is more like an athletic event. It's not realistic at all. It's more like an athletic event. It's more like, you got jump shotting and trick shotting and 360s and, sprinting from, wherever. When I think of Call of Duty, I tend to think more of, like warfare would be like if it was done in the Matrix, where everyone could download, programs to make them these amazing combat fucking kung fu fighters. It's like one of those really cheesy kung fu movies where the lips don't match. The lips are out of sync with the words that are being said by the kung fu motherfuckers, whatever you want to call them. And it's like that. It's kind of like an athletic event. It's like paintball almost. It's like what paintball would be like if you had real guns and everyone snorted a whole bunch of cocaine. Now both those things sound pretty awesome to me. The real combat of Battlefield and in fighting, fighting like it's this real intense thing, and you got the sound going on and it's fucking brutal. In Call of Duty, cocaine induced kung fu fighting with real guns, or as real as guns can be in a video game, that also has its place. However, there's still, in my mind, a clear winner. But there are some ifs. There are some factors to factor in. For instance, here's my final judgment. Okay, on the console, Call of Duty is better. On the PC, Battlefield is better, and here's why. On the console, Battlefield is capped at 12v12, right? But the maps they're still creating to work on the PC too, which means you're playing it capped 12v12 on a map that is designed to be capped at 32 versus 32, right? So to put that in perspective for you, imagine going into a Call of Duty Ground War lobby and playing 3v3. Right, that's the ratio. Imagine playing 3v3 on a map like Underground on Modern Warfare 3 or Array on Black Ops. That's how fun that would be. That's how fun that's in terms of mathematical ratios it's supposed to be. Now it doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes I'm not. Keep in mind I have about 15 days played on Battlefield console as well as PC. But I'm just saying, I don't think Battlefield works on the console because the maps just aren't small enough. And on top of that, these days you don't even get a full lobby. So, you're playing 6v6 on a map like fucking Operation Firestorm. It's just really slow. You play for 45 minutes and you get like 6 kills. It's not meaningful. Whereas Call of Duty, you get what you pay for. It's annoying. It's as frustrating as every Call of Duty has ever been. But it is fast-paced, You play a 7-minute game, you can get, 30 kills. It's action-packed. Now, if you were on the PC, right, it basically, Battlefield 32v32, it's just as fast-paced as Call of Duty on the PC. And so if you're on the PC, I recommend getting Battlefield. If you're on the console, I recommend getting Call of Duty. This is Batman, signing out.